All right, hello everybody. I hope you had a fantastic holiday, but we're back in action here for another stream. We've got a little bit to talk about before we get into the swing of things for the game. But of course, hope everybody has been having a fantastic day so far. As always, good morning, Illuvium community. The big news going into today, of course, actually kind of happened right as Christmas was getting started. And that was the announcement of the leaderboards changing for the way that things go. Oh, Sota, you flatter me. Hello, beautiful. Good morning. Hope you're having a fantastic time. But yeah, of course, the big news in all this, like I was saying, it was the reward changes that came out right as Christmas was happening, which we'll definitely talk about. That's going to be first and foremost. I'm not going to game and play it at this and talk about it at the same time. No, we'll actually sit down and talk about it for a minute, because I definitely have some thoughts about everything, and would like to get it out in the open, so everybody has my take on it. And then the game plan after that, I'm gonna do one overworld run because I need to get my team warmed up a little bit. I managed to find one upgrade in particular that I need to level at least off of level 1 before I take it into ranked. But then once we have them up at least into like 10, 15 or something along those lines, one overworld run worth of leveling, we'll get into the swing of things and hopped into ranked. And 100%, yeah, the community sentiment is super low right now, and there's many things I want to talk about in regards to that for sure. Yeah, because it was a little bit unfortunate, to say the least, and it is absolutely reflecting on the game for the most part, which is disappointing given a few things. So, in just a moment's time here, I'll keep the music going, but let's see, I wrote my notes down over to the side. So of course, for those that may not necessarily be completely aware as to what I'm talking about, because I noticed even a couple videos going up recently from other creators that still actually had old information, so to speak. So things might have changed since that video, even if it got released today. So I want to go over everything real quick here. So of course, this is the announcement that I'm talking about. So Rich, on Christmas Eve, we were getting ready to go to my grandparents for Christmas, and I get this, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like a kick in the nuts. But basically, the disabling of leaderboard rewards. So as a part of the continued efforts to extend the runway and allow the team to focus on delivering the vertical slice part of the MMO, or making adjustments to the active reward systems, and the following reward systems are disabled. So the Overworld bounty, gone. Arena raffle, so that was just the random chance. I think once a month there was a raffle. Based off of how many games you've played and how you finished, you would get a bunch of raffle tickets. I know you can see it in the in-game leaderboard still, like how many raffle tickets you would have had. I think those have absolutely no purpose anymore, if I do recall correctly. So that's going to be completely gone. That is out of here. The Gauntlet ranked leaderboard. So being in the top, I think it was the top 100, it would give you a little bit of a cash prize. It's not a cash prize. It was either an ILV or in fuel. But that's no longer going to be a thing. And then zero production. So this is just from your extractors. This does not count your fuel burning side of things. But the production side of things no longer has a leaderboard with rewards. The only things that are still active is the Illuvium Zero fuel burning leaderboard and the Beyond leaderboards. And honestly, yeah, they probably had to keep those, because without those, there would be literally no purpose to play those games in the slightest in the eyes of most Web3 players. So they're going to keep those ones as well. Okay, then tournaments are still going ahead. Leaderboards will serve as feeder systems into those events, so keep climbing, it still matters. And then also going to review the state of the leaderboard rewards with the council and share an update. So this is the big update that kind of got everybody up in arms, because the timing of this just sucks, to be completely honest with you. Because, like, to go through the biggest change that we've had in Illuvium so far, where Illuvium ranked now got switched into Leviathan, and the push for the new ranked ladder with the alluvials that you own. Anxiety's procking here just trying to think about it. And everything's changed to Leviathan, so alluvials that you already own is the main focus. That, of course, you either have to spend the money to go catch yourself, or spend the money in the shop to buy off somebody else, and then it was all your alluvials. That was the big hype. There was such a huge sentiment. Like, we essentially destroyed the free-to-play experience to give a much better experience to the long-term people that are invested financially, as well as invested emotionally with their alluvials. And those players finally get the chance to do that. And I see that even still when I go into ranked, I see more people that I don't normally see, or I didn't see in the past, because they finally do get to play with their alluvials. And myself personally too, that's so much more special to me. I've been playing so much more ranked because they're my alluvials. However, there are a lot of players that saw that change to Leviathan with the current, or saw the change with ranked, and saw the change, or pause. They saw the change to ranked with it being ownership related, and saw that there was a ranked leaderboard that gave rewards. A lot of people, I do believe, probably went to the market and bought alluvials with the justification for themselves that they would get a return on their investment through weeks and weeks and weeks of trying to be on the ranked leaderboard. So for that to immediately get pulled, and I use that word almost kind of deliberately, for this change to happen right after that, that hurts like hell. And I don't like the word, because I personally think that all of this did need to happen. But the timing was just so rough, to the point where I don't blame people that are yelling scam. Because you just gave like a big high, and then it kind of feels like a bit of a rug in a sense. And that genuinely hurts, but this needed to happen for the sake of the runway, and for the sake of making sure that everything else in the future is completely fine. But the timing was just brutal. And like, I love Illuvium, but this one definitely like really hurt. Like, it didn't necessarily like upset me personally in terms of like missing out on rewards. I don't care. I just play the game for fun. If I happen to get rewarded, I happen to get rewarded. But I know there was a lot of people that had that kind of return on investments kind of idea on Christmas as well, which was stupid painful. So the one thing I'm going to say about this entire announcement, this felt rushed as hell. Because even prior to this happening, especially for the Overworld players, they were asking about their leaderboards. They're asking about what's going to be happening. And I imagine they were just getting bombarded, and it was like the silence was deafening. For Overworld in particular, the players, myself included, that were maybe playing for the bounty, it went down for a week prior. I think they said something along the lines that we were having technical difficulties with our point system. December 18th will be, or not bringing it back online, but it was going to be closed from December something to December 18th. But that date came and passed. It was dead silence. Nobody said anything, and the leaderboard still wasn't up. So those players were completely left in the dark, kind of speculating with each other. And I do not blame the Overworld players at all for being so angry with how this was handled, because they thought their leaderboard was just down for a technical difficulty. They kind of kept things cool, and then we're going to get ready to play on the 18th. it came and went and nothing happened, and there's silence, and silence is honestly some of the most painful, like, things that you can feel. Which, again, I feel so bad about, because for the longest time, and even still, Illuvium is still probably one of the most transparent games that I've known in all of gaming, let alone just the Web3 space. But this entire month or so, with the staking V3 and the shards not being known to the public, but only being held because of wanting a better marketing position, like based off of crypto and other tokenomics, that just feels bad. That for a normie like me, that just feels bad. And then for this to have been so quiet, and then all of a sudden dumped onto us on Christmas, because likely everybody was going off for their Christmas break, and they needed to get something out while also not being able to actually respond to it. Which I will give Illuvium credit. There were a handful of staff members that still stayed in the chats and talked with the players, so it wasn't like they just like fired it off and then ran away for Christmas break. No, it's not what I'm trying to get at. And a lot of people had the same mindset there, Soda, 100%. Like, it felt predictable, and it just, unfortunately, all those doomsayers, let's be honest, I don't go into the Discord and really talk to many people, because that place, to be completely honest, is literally just a cesspool of people trying to get their return on investments extremely quickly, yelling out for scams or some sort of absolute negative doomsaying. On that day in particular, they won. And it hurt everybody, and that's honestly why the sentiment is so terrible right here, right now. Which is too bad, because I want to be in the Discord talking, and every once in a while I do, especially in the arena chats when somebody sees me online and pings like, "Oh, good game, that was really cool," or something along those lines, and "Pleasure playing with you." I love that. I want to do that more often, but I cannot stand just the amount of doom scrolling that I have to go through to see just a little bit of normal conversation. Now, in regards to zero production, so that going down definitely hurts a little bit, but at least the fuel burning is still there. Over on the Twitch side of things, Gear, yes, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a good holiday. Now you had a bit of a hard time prior to the holiday. I hope things turn around for you very, very shortly. And then Beyond Leaderboards staying, I mean, yeah, if there was no Beyond Leaderboards, I don't think there'd be any purpose to actually collect everything. And in regards to tournaments, because they mentioned here that tournaments are still going ahead and will serve as a feeder. So this is what I'm very, very curious to see what they do, because most of the tournaments, if we remember IPL, we remember the OLA X Illuvium crossover and all those kind of things, it was always a sit and go with the main event on another day. It had absolutely nothing to do with your rank. At the beginning of the IPL, your rank did matter to being able to skip a sit and go, but eventually I think if I recall correctly, they threw that rule out so that the only time you get a buy on the sit and go, I think, was for the IPL 1000 or something along the lines. I can't remember exactly. But for the most part, they've not used ranked as a seeding system or a feeder system. So I am scared that the leaderboard serving as a feeder system, I'm scared that it's a throwaway line just to keep people playing. I want to be wrong. I 100% want to be wrong, but based off of past tournaments, they've moved away from the ranked leaderboard being the way that things were seeded. So I do worry that there's just genuinely no reason to compete in the arena. There's no reason to go into Overworld unless you're specifically looking for alluvials for yourself. because nobody is going to be buying Illuvials right now unless they just want to play ranked for the sake of playing ranked like I do. And there's very, very few of me to especially in this space, like there's not very many just normal players that just love the game so much that they're going to be willing to keep on playing the ranked modes. But yeah, no reason to go into Overworld for the most part unless you're specifically going for a task. There's no reason to just, okay, better way of putting it. There's no reason to casually go into Overworld. There's no reason to casually play Arena. There is no reason to buy Illuvials casually. So, with those three by itself, that just immediately, like, put a damper on, I'd argue, like, 95% of the community. And that's brutal. Illuvium 0, I mean, hell, we're just looking for scraps at the end of the breadcrumbs anyway. We're digging through the trash just trying to get a glimpse of something cool. Like, the production thing going away, like, I mean, it is what it is. If the 0 fuel burn went away, there would be a lot more burning in the Discord, so to speak. I don't like the ranked requirements anyway. It's like, yeah, I honestly agree too, because your ladder, your ranked play does not necessarily contribute one-to-one to how you play in a tournament setting, and it does oftentimes favor, especially now, for those players that can just sit down and grind out a bunch of games where there might be only one other player with you and the rest are bots, and if it happens to be a new, or if I happen to be wrong and it feels like you're going up against players with no collections, I love y'all and I wish yous all the best, but yous are basically bots as well compared to some of these people with collections. So, if you're just grinding out games and maybe going up against one actual, like, competitive player, in due time, you will be at the top of the ladder. Example 1. Let me show you. I know I'm not a competitive player. Why am I in the top 20 in the world? Like, my Illuvials, for example, are average about maybe level 35. They have plenty of room to go, especially, of course, for those that don't know, max level is 60. So by not having a team that's any optimized at all, just by being able to grind out games, I'm in arguably a spot that would, in theory, be affected by the leaderboard. You're on the Twitch side, because there's 30 people, basically, it's kind of what it feels like right now. And it definitely hurts. Because the game, especially Arena right now, feels like it's in the best place it's ever been. With the ownership now in effect, all the new changes, all the new regions, all the new drone augments, the recycler having so much more player agency actually taking effect into the battle, the battles feel the best that they've ever done, and those moments where even if it's, like, say, myself versus Soda, or myself up against Dr. Spoon, those moments where it's the two people with the massive collections fighting it off, those are some of the best experiences and the best battles I've ever felt. I come out of those battles and I feel tired. I feel good. Like, I feel, win or lose, okay, I did my best. That was fun. Oh, let's try again. It's the best experience ever, and nobody's playing it because nobody has a reason to. But again, this needed to happen. Just the timing sucks, because if you look at literally any other game, let me throw Overwatch out there, for example, or Valorant. Valorant is not paying you to be on their ranked leaderboards. Valorant does not pay you because of the size of your skin collection. to kind of coincide with like Illuvium Beyond's kind of idea. That never happens, but what they do is something extremely simple that I'm surprised that Illuvium has not quite done yet, is just cosmetic rewards. Like, if the seasons were a little bit longer, let's say if they were 3 months long, and we called it the Season of the Axolotl, top 50 gets the Atlas skin, but it has a gold trim on it. Top 25 get the Axon skin with a gold trim on it. Top 5 get the Axon with, or the Axodon skin with a gold trim on it. That is literally all you have to do, and there you have something special that people can fight for. Web3 people probably don't care because you're not paying their rent, but no game should have to do that. But what they can do, if you grind those up, if you grind the leaderboard, and you have one of those skins, one of the beauties of Web3, if you want to use that skin for something that you can then sell, there's nothing stopping you. You have a one of a maximum, let's say with the Atlas one, 50 skins of this version ever made. If you have the Axodon, 1 of 5 skins ever made. And all you have to literally do is a hue shift on your skin. And that would kind of revitalize and put it in line with the other games that we see, not Web3, but in just general gaming as a whole. Because again, I mean, I know I'm very vocal about this. I think play to earn is an absolute plague, and it destroyed Web3 gaming as we see it right now. Eventually, other studios will, as well as Illuvium, as they're doing right now, are going to move away from it. This is a symptom of moving away from it, but it hurts so badly because it was there in the first place. If it was never there in the first place, this would never hurt. It always hurts more to be given something than take it away than if it just never existed at all. And for me, that's play to earn. I'm not opposed to people making money with games. I love the idea of being able to sell and trade my alluvials and lands, for example. But like most of the other like earning stuff, keep them to tournaments, keep them to events. That's where it should have been, instead of these leaderboards. But just unfortunately, we are going to be feeling a massive ripple effect onto this until there is some sort of major positivity. Because especially how they're talking about tournaments in the corner over here, there's no tournaments listed, announced at all. Nothing. Nothing at all right now. So saying that tournaments are still going ahead, that's great. Saying that your ranked is going to serve as a feeder system for it, okay. Where's the tournament? And we're just kind of in the Umber's cloud of smoke right now. We don't know what's happening. We don't have a target to shoot for. Right now, for goals in Illuvium, Illuvium is untargetable. Unless there's something personally, like what I end up doing here with my Illuvium Zero, for example, where I have a spreadsheet of all of my collections and I have things that I'm chasing for. Or if I don't have a collection that I'm completely happy with, okay, maybe I do still have something that I'm chasing for in the overworld. But for a super casual or for a super power user that has everything completed, there's nothing for them right now. And that makes me so sad. Because I love this game and I still believe that this game is going to be a breakthrough in gaming as a whole, not just Web3. But this hurts. And I don't want to be seen as, as much as I love Illuvium, I love the opportunities and getting the chance to work with them, and I do hope there is still the opportunity and the door is still open. But I will not be a simp, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not just going to be a shill. So when something comes up that is frustrating, I do need to talk about it, and this is definitely one of those days. It was a necessary evil but it could have been handled so much better. And it just makes me sad. Because as much as I don't like the whole play to earn thing, I understand why people are upset, because it was a thing for the longest time. But in terms of the arena ranked, literally just get some skins in there, get a battle board, get a drone blast, something along those lines. Some sort of cosmetic. And there'd be something to fight for. I should not be 20th in the world right now. My collection is decent, but it's not that good. So, unless there's any other comments or questions, I think that's pretty much everything that I have to say in regards to this. I don't like normally talking about the negativity, but that was definitely the elephant in the room, so to speak. There's no avoiding the topic. And it would be disingenuous to all of you and then to myself if I did not talk about it. But for myself, of course, that doesn't mean that we're stopping. I might be frustrated with the current game state, but... Or actually, it's not even the game state, it's more so, I guess, the community sentiment. Because again, I still love the game. So what I'm going to end up doing is... Or actually, a good little transition here. Gear, so what does this mean going for me? For me, we're getting right back to the grind. I'm still going. I might be frustrated, but I still love the game. I still want to level up my alluvials. I still want to play. But I definitely understand that I'm an anomaly. But here's what's up. I'm going to do one overworld run right here, right now. But if there's anybody that wants to play, you have your collections. This is going to sound bad, but I want you to hurt me. Stream snipe the hell out of me with all of your level 60s. I want to see what the community has available when all the strongest alluvials are put onto the field. Stream snipe the shit out of me. I want to be hurt. I'm tired of fighting against bots and then maybe one or two other players, which still give me a fantastic fight, thankfully, at the very, very end. But I want to see what happens when I have a lobby of 8 players. So give me 40 minutes or so for this overworld run. And please, I want to see a challenge. And I missed this one here from Soda. I like the agency that the recycler gives in regards to item control. I love it as well, 100%, and it does increase the APM requirements. Yeah, like, it may be an auto battler, but it's not just something that I can have one hand in my lap and then one hand on the mouse and be completely fine playing. No, like, I actually need to focus in on every single turn, and I love that. Absolutely love that. Did any of my stuff get fixed, by the way? No. So this was another annoying thing that happened to me over the holiday. I had enough stuff to get my weapon all the way up to stage 3. And my order failed. So it consumed my items, but I don't have the item. You could focus. You know I can't focus, but you know what I mean. Gear. I swear to God. So the upgrade that I got. So, tier 5s are always hard to come by. And I was extremely thankful to have found... Where did they go here? Yeah, this guy. This little Alfie here, it didn't even show up on the mini-map. I was going after, I think it was a Lynx, a stage 3 Lynx, and all of a sudden, this Alfie was in my encounter. And holy smokes, like, I immediately picked this guy up. And I'm so happy, but this does mean I have to level him up. And then I've been using a lot more of Fury and Furiox lately. I'm going to try and level them up, as well as my other Scion carries. Still going to do a Stage 2 Abyssal Basin run, because if I were to maybe find a Sinolf that was worth its weight, I have a Master Shard waiting for it. And I'd love to get that. When did Krabby become an alluvial? It's a Krabby with a cannon! Boom! Well, no, it's a shrimp, technically not a crab, but I know what you mean. You gotta roast me somewhere, yep. It wouldn't be gear if you didn't roast me at least 17 times a stream. But all is good. Okay. So Hydrolinks, sometimes stuff can show up there. Archelion, we'll take a look at that. Virtuous Floor Link, sounds good. Any chance that we can find another Alfie? There's one. Twine, I like that as well. Stoic Links might be worth taking a look at. I do need a better ace. Virtuous Hydrolinks. A Relentless Floor Links, let's do that. And Soda, I'll have to Google that word real quick. Capitulation. Yeah, 100% though in regards to the second part here. Like this time, again, anytime there's smoke, or anytime there's any sort of signs of fire, it's always the best time to hop on in on a stock as long as you believe that they're not completely going down. So yeah, in terms of buying alluvials, this is perfect time. Yeah, and I hate that kind of doomsaying, because I 100%, well, not 100%, but in my heart, I wholeheartedly believe that this is nowhere near the end. If anything, this is going to prolong the game's longevity and hopefully get it into the same space as other competitive games and MMOs, like, say, your World of Warcrafts and your Final Fantasies, but as well as, like, your competitive games like your TFTs and Valorants. Again, I still believe they made the right move, but it was just the way that it was handled. That's where my frustration lies. To leave Overworld players in the dark for so long, and for arena players to have the news that the ranked ladder no longer gives rewards right after a huge shift into incentivizing buying your own alluvials, both of those things are a massive kick in the pants. Anytime there's smoke, it means Silence thinking too hard. Yeah. The best part is, after all this, I might have been a little flustered. Y'all haven't seen me angry yet. You don't want to see me when I'm angry. So I came here for the dash, but it looks like this guy's a bit of a potato. So I'm gonna let this one go. Gorilla is nothing to write home about. Okay, so we're just gonna beat these guys up and move on with our lives. Perfect one here for Alfie to get some work. And of course, especially with there being so many alluvials on board, I don't really think about it too hard. I just kind of dump the alluvials in and let it go with the intention that they'll be able to pull through. And just try to level them up a little bit here. Gear, I'd argue that you haven't. There we go. Get Alfie juiced up a little bit. Of course, the one thing I do want to clarify again is that I am not, like, calling for the end of Illuvium. I'm not calling them a scam or a rug pull. I still full-heartedly believe that this is going to be a monumental game for not just Web3, but for everybody in the upcoming years. But I have to call a spade, and this entire scenario was not cool. Okay. So the dash turned up nothing, but I believe down here it's what? Just a bunch of lynxes. There's a fern. I'd like to take a look at the fern. Really need a new Fern Knight, unfortunately. The Fern Knight I currently have is a little bit lackluster. I love using Fern Knight alongside the Furiox. The extra little attack speed buff it gives is just so nice. When it comes to new Illuvials, I am not holding my breath anymore. Or not that I was holding my breath to begin with, but I don't expect it for a while. Basically, from what it sounds like, they want to still have set 1A, right? They still want to have set 1 be a prominent part of the MMO when it first releases, right? And in terms of community sentiment as well, with everything going the way that it is, based off of the Christmas announcement, if they were to release a set 1B or 1.5 now, this would look like... it just wouldn't look very good in my opinion, because as much as we want the new Illuvials, it's kind of incentivizing people to buy the new Illuvials or buy Overworld runs, right? So it's like, hey, we just took away all this stuff that you really liked, but here, pay us more and we'll give you something you want. And the timing would be so painful for that, so I honestly do feel like they have to wait a while to even think about bringing that back. Or, like, humoring that kind of conversation. What I do believe we need, kind of in order. First and foremost, we need some sort of plan or outline as to what the esports side of things here for Arena is going to be. Because that's really, truly the only thing that they can get people to intentionally drive and work on to keep playing ranked on a casual level, or a casual or semi-competitive, or at least a consistent basis. They need, in my opinion, to announce what their plans are. Oh, this is actually not a bad fern, with the exception of its Omega power. Damn. Speaking of not being able to focus, but we'll just use the baby one. If we get it, we get it. But for us not knowing what the tournament landscape is going to end up being, right now, there's still, again, no purpose to play ranked, no purpose to get good Illuvials. As soon as the tournament plans end up showing their face, I do believe that at least some of that will be curated a little bit. Like, it'll be fixed, because those people that truly then care about the tournaments will want to then go get their Illuvials. And will want to go buy Illuvials, whether it be through Marketplace or through Overworld. They will then have something to play for. It doesn't fix the casual problem, but it at least fixes the competitive one for players that wish to do tournaments. So I think that has to be at least the first thing that comes out before we start talking about a new set, so to speak. Hello, Drake. How's it going? Good morning. So that's what I think first and foremost has to happen before any sort of Illuvial Set 1B comes out. At least gets if the train's derailed right now, we need to at least get it back on the track. So announcing what the competitive side of things is going to look like at least puts the train on the track, but it might not be moving. But it's still progress. And then once it's back on the track, then if your next announcements, by all means. Because I swear to God, this is probably unlikely. But if the next big announcement to come out ends up being the risk to earn stuff, that would be a massive piss off for me personally. So we lost our revenue generating rewards. And then right after that, the next thing that you make is something where we throw away the things that we got. So it's all about the optics, right? If there's one thing that my old job did teach me, it's all about the optics. It's never about the player experience, it's always about the optics. And that would not look good. Heck, there's a reason why I don't work at right or there anymore as well, because certain topics like these, it's not good to talk about them because of the optics. If Illuvium never wants to have me cast their thing again over my comments here on this stream, it's because of bad optics. But I have faith that all will be well. It's not a terrible atlas, but I've got some plenty better. Yeah, I'll leave these ones alone. Not worth the energy. Again, the main goal here for now is just to be leveling up Alfie. Bad optics, yeah. Open your eyes. Yes, open my eyes and maybe get a new prescription here on this, these glasses. It's all the narrative, right? Yeah, exactly. And the thing that hurts, too, is that the narrative can spin you as a scammer. It can spin you as problematic and untrustworthy, even if that is not your intention in the slightest. And that's where I feel like this entire idea is with Illuvium sentiment is right now, because yeah, everybody on the Illuvium staff absolutely look like villains right now for doing this move. And it looks just that much worse due to the way that it was handled, even though, like I said, I still believe that this is for the good of the project. It is for the good of the game, and it needed to happen because play to earn is a plague, and it shouldn't have been implemented in the first place. But because it was implemented, now whenever you remove it, it's going to hurt, and especially with how abruptly it was, and with the timing of the Illuvials, it's just... I know I'm probably repeating myself a little bit, but it just hurts. Alright, what do y'all think? Is this Virtuous Hydrolinx worth its time? It's not terrible, to be honest. Could be better, obviously, but it could be worse. Unfortunately, I don't have my Lynxes listed on my spreadsheet yet, so I just can't quickly consult the spreadsheet. Alright, we got Alfie into the double digits, so that was my big goal. Hopefully we can get it close to level 14? 15? And I don't think I have a good Virtuous Hydrolink, so I will throw my Purple Shard at it. If I get it, I get it. If not, it is a-okay. Main thing I'm looking for is the fact that it is relatively tanky in terms of its health. Resistance is not so great, but it does have some decent damage and Omega power, and we will scoop this one up. Virtuous Hydrolinx is with the squad. Hello, beautiful. I think it makes sense for Arena to go more P2E in the good market conditions. MM2 for Web3, MMO for Web2 gamers, Arena for Web3 gamers, and Risk to Earn for degens. I've seen you post this opinion in the Discord as well, and for the most part, I honestly do agree. In fact, I'd say like 99% of the way I agree. The only thing I would say is that the play to earn aspects should only still be with tournaments. The ranked ladder board should probably never have a cash prize or a cash valued prize as something, only cosmetics. So what I would change is that MM2 is for your traditional Web2 gamer. Arena is for pay to win players. And then Risk to Earn are for gamblers. So basically, pretty much right on the money. And in fact, it's probably the same thing, I just worded differently. So, in the aspects for the most part, I agree, just without there still being the tokens or anything like that on the leaderboard itself. So yeah, I'd argue pretty much like 99% of the way with you. A not too shabby little Stoic Lynx here is on the radar. My current Stoic Lynx has okay health and maxed out attack damage, but has garbage everything else. Picking this up would be an absolute upgrade, so we are going to take a shot at it here with another purple shard. Octius leveling up, same thing with Pyre and Rake, there we go. And just double checking to make sure none of those are perfect. Oh, not even close. Okay, off to the Stoic Lynx. This is the one we're looking for here. Very strong, tanky fella. In terms of what it's trying to do for its role, these would be pretty decent stats for it. And we will end up picking it up. There we go. That's our second Lynx of the pickup. With a very, very nice and strong Stoic Lynx, but now I have to level up another Stoic Lynx later. Still got a lot of energy left to go into this one. There is, of course, an Alfie, I think, up in the northeastern side of the map. Definitely something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And we're just going to keep knocking things out along the way. Because, again, main goal is just to get Alfie leveled up. If I can find an upgrade, that would be incredible. An Ace is one of those upgrades that I would need. While I don't play Inferno too often, I have on a couple of occasions. My Ace is rather lackluster, so I'm gonna put a little teleporter here. If it has some okay stats, maybe we'll pick it up. If not, we'll jump right back out. One thing I just realized too, the battle pass for the season. That has to be ending sometime soon, right? So I imagine that's got to be in a somewhat similar position here as well. If this, do I even, oh, that's a Scion. I should not be clumping my guys up like that. Let's not do that. Just send the squad in. I'm very curious as to what Battle Pass Season 2 will look like, because that's another one of those things where if the next announcement is Battle Pass Season 2, that's another we took something away from you, now give us money optic, which would not be very, very pleasant, to put it nicely. Just dawned on me that I attacked all those Illuvials without actually checking their stats. But I'm glad that we did anyway. This ace isn't too shabby, if I do say so myself. That is, what, a 50% chance if I use that? We'll go for the blue, or not the blue, we'll go for the red. I know it's an overshard, but we're going to take it anyway. I want this ace. It'll be my best one for sure. We just disagree on giving money to ranked players. Makes sense from the Web3 gaming perspective. But don't want the Web2 audience to play for money, so... Yeah, because, again, example A. I'll keep using myself as an example. I put very little into the ecosystem on a Web3 basis. But first off, again, just have to shout out here this ace. This thing is an absolute beauty. Nearly maxed out on all the stats that matter. Maxed out on attack speed and omega power. Those carpet bombs are going to be quite brutal. Almost perfect stats in terms of its tankiness as well. I'd say level 4 on both of those. Level 3 on the attack damage, but still a very awesome ace. Like I was saying, the example A in regards to what happens when a Web 2 guy comes in and starts taking the Web 3 money. So I did not give really anything into the ecosystem of Illuvium. I am literally the definition of an extractor. I played the game so much, or I guess not a definition, because I played the game because I love the game, not because I'm trying to make it my job. And I just played the game. I found myself in a position to get fuel as rewards, which I then turned that into my overworld runs, which then gives me the collection that I have now, with the exception of maybe a couple alluvials that I bought for super cheap, and a couple that were given to me. So I put next to nothing into Illuvium, and I yet took so much. I probably took about, say, $50 or $60 worth of fuel. And if there is a lot of me, that would be the problem. So that's kind of why I personally still think that there should be no token or no cash-based reward outside of maybe fuel. If you want to give fuel as rewards, I mean, no. That's just me being biased. No, fuel shouldn't even technically even be the reward. What it should be, in my opinion, again, is just that the rewards are all cosmetic in nature. 1 second, sorry. Sorry about that. Quick family thing to take care of there. You might have saw my son's head in the camera there. But where was I? Yeah. It just needs to be a cosmetic, in my opinion. Give something that both the Web 3 people would like and Web 2 people can absolutely agree on. You give them a skin. This twine isn't worth my time. You give the Web 3 people a skin that if they really, really wanted to, they can consider this a collector's item, where if you're in the top 5, you have like 1 of 5 skins in the world. Or at most, you're in the top 50, you have 1 of 50 skins in the world. You have something exclusive, something specifically for you that if you wish to then sell, go ahead. Nothing wrong with that. And then for the Web 2 people who don't care about that kind of stuff, hey, you have an exclusive skin that next to nobody has. Congratulations. That's still pretty cool. And I think that can just absolutely outweigh the a financial style. that is well something that also keep you into the community and keep you playing as well. Spoon, if that's Dr. Spoon, hello, hello, welcome. Good to see you. Good morning. But yeah, stuff like an XP boost as well. Some other consumable alongside the cosmetic. I wouldn't want it to be specifically XP boosts because you don't have anything evergreen, nothing long-lasting. And you want to be able to have something, personally, I think that's like evergreen that you can then say whether it be the next week or next couple years. You can put that skin on and it's like, look at me, I'm one of the few people in the world that actually have this from my time in ranked a while ago. I still get really stupid excited when I hop onto my Overwatch account and show off my icon for participating in Season 1. And that's completely silly, it's completely stupid, but there's a sense of pride in that. There's something prideful about seeing Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and seeing it all there. It's just a little cosmetic, and of course on the Web3 side of things too, now you include exclusivity, you include being able to sell it to people. It would just completely, honestly in my opinion, save the lack of drive for ranked as of this moment. And then in regards to actual earning, we just need tournaments to get announced. If you want to get paid, you got to show up on that weekend and you have to be at your best. That's how I see it. Not too shabby on the Alfie front here. This thing does have essentially most of the stats that I would want. Not worth a Master Shard, but my one Lone Resplendent is going to be what we fire off here. The fact that it does have maxed out Omega Power and nearly maxed out on its defenses is key, and it is immediately going to say, how about nah, and immediately send itself and me to the Shadow Realm. Damn, that Alfie wasted no time. Damn, I would like that one. Alright. My Illuvials are pretty tired, so we're almost done here. We'll get into the ranked side of things in just a couple moments. I think I have maybe one more fight for my Illuvials. That is probably the smoothest I've ever driven around as I jump into a tree. I'll say it's easily the smoothest I've ever traversed Abyssal Basin, then I go full George of the Jungle and smash into a tree. I might have just showed my age on that one, oh god. Here, since I only have the one more shot, let me double check and see what else is out there before I commit on an encounter. So I'm right next to a Virtuous Floor Lynx. Hello, beautiful. Archelion, I have a decent one. I already have a decent Relentless Hydra Lynx. And then Virtuous Floor Lynx. So yeah, we'll just stick with the Virtuous Floor Lynx then. That bit. There. Scoop this up, do this fight, win or lose. Then we'll just blow the rest of our energy on, hopefully Lazarite, and then we'll call it there. Excuse me, transition on into the arena. On the positive, I also do have a couple of my scanners rolling in Illuvium 0 for the cooldown. I think my very first plot I have, the one at Halcyon Sea, does have 3 going. So we can actually truly start pushing for our Tier 5 biodata hunt. Super, super close to getting that finished up too. And then I have all the biodata in the world, and then I gotta find myself a new goal because I basically have everything I want. Oh. Here we go. Alright, so that's kind of what I was hoping for. We got Alfie to level 15, much better than the level 1 that we started off today. A couple of my other alluvials, too, in pretty decent shape as well. Not a bad Virtuous Floor Lynx. Is there anybody better here? Doesn't look like it. We'll throw the shard at the Virtuous Floor Lynx. We get it, great. If not, it is what it is. Everything else will go towards the stones. So let's see here. Give me about 5-10 more minutes for the ranked players here. Again, I want you to hurt me. I want the best of the best. I want this Lynx escaping me right now just to be a fraction of the pain that I'm going to end up feeling here on stream. So I sound like an absolute damn masochist, but I want to see everybody at their best. I want a challenge from the entire lobby and not just maybe 1 or 2 individuals. One person I want to give a shout out to, actually, because I see them on the ranked ladder pretty much as long as I am. Never Lose. We've had so many incredible battles over the last day and a half or so. Just wanted to say thank you for all the games. An absolute pleasure playing with you. Alongside everybody else I might have, of course, found on the ladder. Not just a Never Lose. Spoon, I think I saw you on there a few times. You've absolutely whooped my ass every single time, but I mean, that's to be expected when you're up against the dock. Once again, failing to distinguish Geodyne or Lazarite, or vice versa. Little Riptor there, but again, I have next to no energy. That's a gem rock, isn't it? That one's actually Geodyne. This I can actually use, though. Should be using flint caps when I'm leveling up. Excuse me, Birdo. That one's Geodyne, isn't it? Well, actually, I think there is actually an armor set that I do want to be making here. So let's just, regardless of which rock it is, as long as it's not yellow, let's shoot it down. Need the ring nut, too, here. Scoop that. An epic shard and a resplendent. Okay, there we go. I can replace my tier 5 shard that I used earlier on the Alfie that just told me to go F myself. Never Lose on the way to being a legend. To counter him so often. Oh, that's awesome. Sent them a Jotun yesterday. Awesome, awesome. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I love that. Oh, there was Never Lose, and I think there was one other player that I ran into a lot yesterday that was actually, like, consistently going for air-based teams, and it did surprise me quite a bit. They would always rush Kookaloo and Kukaraf. I don't know why I can't remember what their tag is, but I took one game, they took one. And the one that I took, I think, was only because I got to my endgame team a little bit quicker. That's not yellow, is it? Yep, that's yellow. I don't know what it is. If I'm on Abyssal Basin, I have a very, very hard time telling the differences with the stones. But then if I go to Brightland Steps, I have it's extremely easy for me to tell between the rocks. As I say that, I do manage to find the difference between the two. I should have just shot this one as well. I'm looking for that too. Ring nut. There, just need one more. Oh, just past the rock. Let's just get that real quick. The Kukas are back, yes. Oh, I tell you what, I absolutely love the Dodo line. The Kuka, Kukalus, or Kukaraf. Even though I don't have a dedicated air team, I always have one leveled, or I did level one up. Just because, especially early, I find its support basically invaluable. Being able to stun something so consistently is just so beautiful. What does that mean, Gear? Does he like the Dodo line? Makes sense. Do I have a Dodo brain? I mean, probably. I mean, look at me just trying to get to this goddamn forge. Alright. Just getting my shards situated so I don't forget them on my next run. Then I'll reboot the game and get into the swing of things here with the arena. Alright, have those all underway. Hopefully support gets back to me so I can have my Aegis Flail for next time. But otherwise, all good. Good little session of leveling. Now let's get to the battles. And of course, big thank you to everybody for tuning in. While the sentiment around Illuvium after the announcement on Christmas Eve there definitely put a damper on a lot of us, it doesn't mean that I'm stopping. As long as I'm having fun with Illuvium, nothing's going to change here. I'm still going. I still plan on doing at least 2 days of streams a week, maybe 3 depending on availability. Like this week, for example, we're doing 3. We'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'll keep playing, I'll keep grinding. If I end up being number 1 in the world, well, those who've been around here long enough know that little phrase of mine where if I'm the best at something, there's something wrong. So you better come dethrone me, if that makes sense. Of course, Wednesday I'm going to be going over my year in review, even though technically I only started from July. But we'll close off 2025 with a little bit of review. But here, so I don't forget. Alright, whoever wants to compete, I'm going to be queuing up here for ranked in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Instantly up to 4 people real quick, so that's a good sign unless somebody was already queued up, but we'll see. The one thing that has been kind of nice about just being able to play so often, and then with a lot of the players being bots in a couple of the games, it's kind of allowed me to build up a little bit of a flowchart in my mind as to how I want my builds to be, well, built, and the order of operations that kind of coincide alongside with that. But the problem there is that I then don't have the practice of when I'm contested. But thankfully, all of the practice and all of the gameplay from the past patches before it was Leviathan kind of gave me that practice, so I'm not completely skunked. Because that's where I think, especially when we start getting in the tournament play, where things like scouting your opponent ahead of time is actually going to be kind of critical. Because to a super whale or a super long time player that has basically everything they could possibly want, okay, you can't truly contest them. But to say somebody like myself who maybe only has 1 or 2 teams built, you can absolutely snipe somebody like that. And I say teams built, but let's be honest, mine still have a long way to go. I don't have a single max alluvial here. Speaking of never lose, there they are. Dr. Spoon and Weaver here as well. Good deal sale I'm not quite familiar with, not sure. And then I'm not 100% on the rest of these. Crystal Shores, 1 stackable. Reroll every time we fuse. So just picking up tier 0s just for the heck of it seems to be on the menu. All right, let's go. Okay, so of course the weapon is going to determine which style I end up going for. I personally have 2 styles that I can do. Thankfully, a lot of them have a lot of overlap. So, with it being either Aegis-based stuff or Scion-based stuff. But it all depends on the alluvials I'm given. Based off of the components, I can really go either way right now, so that's kind of a nice start. But my tanks are going to be a little bit lackluster. Starting up against Spoon. Because it's Spoon, I know my death is imminent. In fact, instead of the rogue, I might be better off just kind of trying to keep everybody kind of close contained. Nicholas Cho, hello, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Fine, at least let me get the 1 alluvial off the board. Okay, we did take 1. Yeah, because let's take a look at this Lynx here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here. Level 60. Absolute perfection. It truly does not get any better than that. Okay, weapon-wise, let's see here. So first off, I'm going to make sure that I have the weapons that I could at least do something with. I do have 3. Spoon, I mean, they can essentially just wait for me because they can play pretty well anything. Somebody already has the air bulwark, it does look like. But what I can do then is try Aqua Blaster. Let's level up to 4. I'll pick up Kuka here as well. Replace this. Do something along these lines. Wasn't quite fast enough to do everything that I wanted. Bro just said that I look like Technoblade. Well, it's an honor. The legend. Yes, of course I remember, yeah. The last time you dropped a comment on one of my shorts, I think you said that I was the GOAT, and I am absolutely honored, and thank you. Well, I remember. Hope all has been going well. Solid start, definitely a good pickup. There is another Atipo that I could just snag for the sake of the evolution stacks here. Weavers, who we're up against, played them a few times, very good player. I think they're in a similar boat to myself, where they have some stuff leveled, but it's not necessarily maxed. So a pretty even fight ahead of us here, I think. They do have the level advantage here onto me, so unless Atlas can hold them off, this is going to be a little bit of a rough time. And it looks like they're going to be able to tear through rather nicely. Can we get through the Doko at least? That starts things off. Yeah, Fleech isn't going to be able to carry through that. The alluvial advantage is definitely going to be quite nice there for them. And that Doka did a lot of work, I feel like. Archie, my dearest. We'll absolutely need you here in just a second. Personally, I need that... Excuse me, I need the Grocko as well for possible more free refreshes in the future. Position is a little bit better so that my Atlas is actually completely tanking. I think the Kuka and the Lynx took aggro way too early in that last fight. So make a little adjustment. Good little stun there for Kuka. Lock up the Atlas so the shield doesn't come out. But still, again, I think I'm a little bit underwhelmed in terms of level. Yeah, it's my level 4 to their level 5. Gonna rely on the Ranger, rely on this Flish for maybe a little bit of a closeout. Can it be done? Not with that TNT there. That thing's full HP. Yeah, we're not getting through that. But that's okay. This is kind of the way that I played prior to this patch. Take the beating early. Let's make the comeback late. Okay, let's level, because I need to put somebody on the board here to make some room. Get rid of Valente. Let's get our Kuka in here. Optimally, we need Kuka loose sometime soon. I got absolutely nothing in regards to tank augments, and I need at least one. So I'm actually going to start using the Recycler here on some of these yellow ones. In the meantime, though, let's start building a few of these takedowns. I feel like this is still one of the GOATs in terms of augments. Let's combine these. The energy damage, yes, I like that too. 1, 2. Let's actually make it so that these are used. This player is probably one of the bots, or a newer player. So, if you're a new actual player, I do apologize. I'm not trying to insult you. But just whenever I see someone without their own collection, I assume that it's probably a bot. In which this is where the level difference is going to come into effect. Not in regards to my level in the game, but my alluvials. You can see they barely are taking any damage in the slightest here. Normally when I'm playing ranked, this is kind of how it goes for a while. It might just be myself and Never Lose and maybe one more in a lobby. Meanwhile, the rest of these are kind of a steamroll. It does give me a good chance to breathe here. Like, I'm okay knowing the fact that I've taken this much damage because I was going up against the players and not the bots off the rip, or the newer players off the rip. Do I want my Lynx to be an empath right now? I don't think so, oddly enough. Can now get ourselves closer to level 6. This is where I slowly but surely start to put on the gas. Good deal. This is, in fact, a player, and not only that, they are locked and loaded. Level 60s across the board for the most part. Just this little Lura, and even then, it's level 33. So let's watch as it just immediately gets destroyed here, more than likely. Do take care of the Grocko, but it's that Lynx and the rest of the DPS that I actually have to worry about. We might be able to swarm, but now that the Lynx has gone up north while everybody else went south, it is going to be problematic. Lynx might be able to take care of the TNT. That's a nice little start, so we're going to at least not take full damage. But yeah, we'll get smoked. I'll tell you what, tough competition. This very well might be the first time that I fall out of the top 4 in a ranked game. And I'm all for it because I'm playing up against strong players. It's the fighting game player kind of mentality. Yes, I'm getting my ass beaten handed to me, but it's because I'm playing up against other players and trying to learn while doing so. Finding the dash, this is a good start. But I really need to get my tank line underway here. Because I did not find my Caribou at all, which is a little bit frustrating. Cling could potentially work, and I'm probably going to win this one. So I will get it, because I'll get the extra coin for winning the round, and keeps me at max interest. So I've got Toxic Harbinger online, but again, I don't have the Caribou, so I'm kind of out of luck in that regard. What do we have in terms of the rest here? Frost looks like it's going to be coming out here from Weaver. Good deal. Dust, it looks like, so it's something I'll have to keep in mind. I'm glad I've got the augment that gives Clumsy. I'm actually intentionally going to take the stun for my Ranger, because if I can slow down one of these super carries, it might be my only chance at actually winning. My dash is not leveled in the slightest, so as much as I want to put it in, I am going to refrain from doing so. There's the Caribous, at least. We're starting to get there. Archos is here. There we go. Would like to find Caribou. Where art thou, Caribou? At least these are all free rerolls until now. There's the Twine, though. I'll take that. So again, Toxic Harbinger, but don't have the Caribou to make it truly happen just yet. Look at this little Pyrie in the background. Going absolutely nuts. Only thing it's missing is move speed. Well, that's the beauty about this little Pyrie. It doesn't have to move a damn inch if it doesn't have to, unless it's already winning the fight. The Dr. Spoon, again, going to slap me around a little bit. Okay, Thorns, not necessarily what I'm looking for. Hyper, don't really care too much. Damage Amp, maybe? Fighter, not so much. I think I'm going to end up going with the Damage Amp. Let's get our tank line built here a little bit more. Something like that. I'm not playing Aegis, so I can actually have everybody snuggle quite a bit here. I do need to keep the Fleece on, because I do need it for that Scion buff. And then as soon as I get out of this NPC rounds, I either need to roll to get Caribou or just level up. I think I'm more so going towards the level up option. Let's get that Bulwark imprint. That might have been a mistake, but we'll roll with it. Kukulus is now going to show up here. Huh. Can temporarily make you the carry of sorts. Give that to you. Never mind Harbinger for now. We'll go Enchanter. Let's level up. Level up to 7. Let's then get Caribou on here for our 5th Bulwark, so we do have the buff now. Energy Crate, let's do Omega Power over time. And I still need a snowballing mechanic for, or snowballing augment for my inevitable rake here. I think that's the direction I have to go. As much as I would love to build up my tank line a little bit better, including getting Caribou up there, I think this makes her, this entire composition gets made or broken based off of whether I get Rake quick enough, or Umber even. So let's put my extra credits into levels. That's going to get me up to 8. I will add the Dear Doggo. I'm going to put one of these yellows into the Recycler. I need that to become a blue as soon as possible, preferably. Is my... Which one's a little tankier? Is Grocko oddly enough a little bit tankier? It might be. Let's make the switch. Alright, Dash gonna go into the background here, right onto the damage dealers. So this isn't too bad of a situation here. Going up against Weaver, again, one of the players that does actually have their own team. And they already have a rake. That is definitely concerning, and they are continuing, it looks like, to look for more dashes. So I am in an odd spot now. Again, while I'm scouting, I am just missing critical information. I did not see that rake already on board. Zara Flames also has one. There's the flare. I do need to have that on in order to make this comp truly work. One more flare. All the way up already. There we go. Not going to end up finding Dash yet. I didn't get the augment I wanted either. Going up against Never Lose, but I'm going to need to very, very soon make the decision of whether I skip Rake and go for Duolef instead, or race Weaver for Rake and or for Umber. At least, even though my dash is only a my dash is only a level 2, it's just a little guy, but at least it's getting a lot of airtime. So it is going to get a bunch of experience being in these battles. Helping me level up a little bit, thankfully. So that was a scary spot here for Never Lose, and that's something to keep in mind too. If Never Lose already has a Sephoris, they too could in the end also want Alfie and Duolef. We do end up getting our Rake online. So I at minimum now have a Steam buffed Rake that isn't level 20, it's level 29. Okay stats at best, and I can now give Alfie, this is the new Alfie that we just caught, it's gonna get some airtime right here, right now. A Rake needs to move, this needs to be recycled. I don't have an emergency button or any sort of sustain right now for my Rake, so I need to find its positioning very, very carefully. As I say that, it immediately is getting targeted down by the Penguin, but hopefully it could turn on it. It does have Axe on there for some backup. Take care of the little Rota. Can we get rid of some of this crowd control? That's where we're going next. Tanks are keeping the rest of these rogues pinched in the corner. It's actually a pretty decent spot. And we are going to be able to take a chunk off of Good Deal. Looks like I'm snowing a little bit here. Let me fix that camera. Haven't had to do that in a little while. And an NPC round here. How do I want to do this? Maybe making the push up to level 9 is the safest of options. Because at least this way, if I do have to then make a hard pivot over to Duolef or some other late game carry, I won't be struggling in terms of levels. Okay, please, emergency button of some sort. Not necessarily the one I wanted, I'd rather have the restorating. But I will take it. The resistance piercing. Tank speed omega power. Let's try the resistance piercing so we can shoot tanks. Let's get ourselves up to the next level. We'll get rid of the omega power. Let's give the omega power over to Alfie. Alfie, take the omega power, all the omega power. Let's give you the boost in damage. Let's give you a little boost in terms of attack, and then take this to the recycler. There's a dash here, and then I'm just going to roll down to 70, or as close to it. We do manage to get Sin off, so now even Invoker is a potential here. In fact, potentially a move for the next turn. Wanted to stay at 70, but there was a lot of alluvials that came out that are going to help me a ton. Good little shot there from Sinolf to at least take down 2. Looks like it's all smooth sailing here for our Rake as well, and Weaver taking a lot of heat. I think we've lost all of our either new bros or all of our bots. So it's just down to the 5 of us. And then, of course, Weaver going down would be good for me because of the dashes they are holding. A Scion, regeneration, or go for the water to get up to 6 water, maybe? I think I'm just going to go for the water. Let's get up to 6 water. Who do I want to give this to? For the blinds, maybe? Do that. This has to go to Axon. Their stuff comes out the quickest. I'll pause with the rest here. It's still awkward having that little Karadulo out there. The 2 mammoths, possibly, for a little bit of crowd control would be nice here. Good shot from Sinolf. This is where just chopping through bunkers is quite nice. The reinforcement of the Rake as well, helping get the finishing blows, and we're actually setting ourselves up for a pretty decent spot. We do lose Weaver. Alright. Kuka, thank you for your service. Geyser will go in instead, and because we're going up against a rather tanky squad here from Good Deal, or I say rather tanky, it's full of rogues, but I mean, it still looks pretty beefy, in my opinion. Something like this, potentially. 1 more mammoth. I potentially sell you off and go for more Ibs here. This is where I'm wishing I took the other water augment. I could have had 8 water right now. Okay, good shot from the Sinolf, but here comes a good shot from the ramp fight. It doesn't actually touch my Sinolf, surprisingly. But the rogues did a fantastic job of chewing through. I imagine as soon as that Malura gets their stun, it's just going to be curtains here for me. There it is. Yeah. Alright, so Good Deal definitely finding a ton of their late game beef. Anybody else with dashes right now? No. So it's literally all on me to find them then. Okay, never lose. If I get the win here, this knocks them out of the game. Do a little bit of a rearrangement where the Karadulo is more so a placeholder just to defend. Move Rake over just a tiny little bit. They have the 2 Kukuluses, so it's 2 stuns that could come out by any moment. So if we can evaporate them rather quickly, that would be nice. One of them literally walks right on in to my Sinolf's Water Blast. So this is probably going to be the end of Never Lose here. As long as we can close this out. These are some pretty decent shields, but my tank line is still basically untouched. Ranger is definitely a nuisance, but even Geyser's just going to scream at, or not Geyser, Flood's just going to scream at them as we eventually knock them out of here. Alright. Fleesh, thank you for your service. That was the play I was thinking about. I totally forgot about it, didn't I? I'm out of bench space here. Let's get rid of... Wait, get rid of the Groko? Yeah, let's get rid of the Groko. If we happen to get Karadulo, that gives us Toxic, so that'd be nice. Then having the Mammoth on board. This makes things awkward. I'm going for way too many things, I think, right now. There's a dash. That's a good start. There we go. Karadulo is here. Can we get more dashes? Right down to 70. Never mind the Invoker idea I was thinking about. Can we lock down a super carry? I mean, we're going to get a super tank. What is the augment? A support augment? Let's go for the beefiness. I've got another set of components that I can work with for the next round. I was a little bit too slow. Let's see how we can do. A very, very tanky squad off the rip. Can't really do damage while they're invulnerable, of course. Sin Elf is going to get absolutely obliterated, as does my Ranger, it looks like. And I have no Omnivamp, so yeah, my team is going to get completely cooked. It's crunch time. We need to do it and do it now. Going up against Spoon. Umber is here. Let's see, energy or breach pulse? Sure, let's go for that. Tankiness. Let's give you the phasing. Can I find enough Sinolfs? Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to end up leveling. Level up a bunch. Gonna actually frontline the geyser. Bring the Scion with me. Umber, you start here. This is the best chance I have here against Dr. Spoon, but that is still a very scary and tanky squad. Look at that front line. That's absolutely disgusting. But if I can get to the back line with Sinolf, it might make all the difference. Geyser's going to keep on tanking for me quite nicely. Of course, it just got that buff not long ago, so it can act as a pseudo-tank. But the squad is just too strong. Umber was not able to break through with Sinolf. And I think, even if it's 24 health, we will fall. That is just way too many Illuvials on the board. We will fall in third. We're still in the point, so I'm happy with that. But we do get taken down. Definitely thinking about what I could have changed in that one. I was thinking about possibly going Invoker Steam if I was able to get the Furiox on there. But I just ran out of space. But how about we take a look at these two legends of the arena? Good Deal Sale up against Dr. Spoon. We do for Good Deal. They're a level down, but they've got the Rogue Revenant Vanguard going on. 5 Earth, 3 Dust is the name of the game. Meanwhile, on the other side, Verdant Wildfire with almost fully loaded Nature Team here for Dr. Spoon. With Colossus also on board. So let's see, this is like a rogue's worst nightmare. They're all basically just jumping into a brick wall with nowhere to actually get into this fight. This Malura, though, might be able to turn this one around. If it could get its cast off, though, it got taunted for so long that it actually could not even get its charm off. So that is really brutal here for Good Deal. Not only could they not get in, but their big charm was not able to make any sort of effect. It didn't even go off, so they have one more chance here. How the heck was that charm so long? Was that Caradula or Caradelox alongside Colossus lining up perfectly? You never really see Colossus, so that actually took me by surprise, but that is a perfect case scenario there for Dr. Spoon. It completely shut down that Malura. We do see a change in augments now onto that Malura as well. They added the attack damage for maybe a little bit of a faster charge on its Omega. Maybe if the Omega can hit, maybe that is the way you break Dr. Spoon. But even still, it's the level 9 versus level 10. Dr. Spoon did a fantastic job of monitoring their economy while also building an absolute disaster piece of a team. In a good way, I mean. It is just so damn good. And it looks like even that Malura charm was not enough. They're just sitting in the verdant puddle with the Archos healing away, and all of those nature units are just going to be healing over and over again. And so I feel like, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, there's a reason why Dr. Spoon is so damn feared here in Leviathan style ranked. They are going to win this game. Nicely done. Let's do it again. GG, Spoon. I've got time for one more. Going into this lobby, I'm not exactly sure. I see the one player from Monarch, but otherwise, I don't really necessarily recognize anybody here. This will be interesting. One more round, we'll do our Illuvium 0 cooldown. And then we'll call it for the day. Now with Brightland Steps, you just get a ton of free rerolls. Very generous region, to say the least. For me personally, it's basically going to be used around level 5, level 6, when I'm missing the tank line or missing the Archos that I'm looking for. That's when it usually comes into play. If I happen to have all that I need, I mean, even better. Yeah, that was a good battle, a good fight. I enjoyed that. Shoutouts to everybody on the X side of things. I see that a couple people, including Illuvium themselves, retweeted my my stream. So I thank you all for the support. Thank you for joining. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Now, loot does not look like they have their own collection here, so I should be in a relatively decent shape. Not gonna level, not gonna worry about it. A firefighting lynx, though, does intrigue me. I can't remember what the stats are on my relentless ember lynx. But we could potentially have some fun here, depending on what kind of items or kind of weapon we get. This might be a good time for an Aegis game. It's a nice thing, of course, with Aegis. It doesn't matter necessarily which element I get. As long as it's a bulwark weapon, I can make something work. But that is also more so because I'm stubborn and I force Aegis on everything, even when it doesn't need to be. There's the tried and true. Ripple Flail coming on through, and heck yeah, we're going to actually go for it. We're getting a little bit of a better lineup here as well. Kinda liking the way that this is starting. Z88 has a level ahead, but I have the levels in terms of my actual alluvials, so I feel comfortable in that sense. But alright, this is where I'm comfortable. Let's cook. I imagine my Lynx is just going to have a field day with this one. Every one of those swipes, at least a quarter HP gone. And of course, compared to the last game where I had absolutely no sustain, we already have the augment I was looking for. This one here with the little plus sign, the Restorating Impact Reactor. This thing being able to give you resistances as well as healing you on every takedown. Definitely helps early, but it helps basically all game long. Absolutely love this thing. I see some people even stack them, and that's absolutely ridiculous. Just turn whatever alluvial you have into an absolute monstrosity. And look at that combat rhythm as well. Oh god. I'm gonna check these other ones just to see if there's anything good, but no, we're going combat rhythm, 100%. Now, the Monarch player here does have their own alluvials, so I'm actually going to put the level on in. Let's get ourselves that 3 bulwark buff, and gank the Valente as it comes on in. I'm not sure the levels of the rest of their squad. So it looks like they're in a similar spot that I am. They have their own alluvials, but they're not maxed, so a relatively even fight. It's probably a good thing that I added the extra level. So you can see it's still a very, very close fight. If the Lynx can get the kill onto this Atipo or get the knockout, get a little bit of health back, and then go over to maybe the Grocco, double heal. Oh, we don't get the second heal, but I think it's still going to be enough. Kuka did a fantastic job of holding a line here for me. So, my precious dear Lynx is going to be able to hold the line quite nicely there for me. Kukaloo's potentially on... not on the menu, that'd be a little bit rough. Thanksgiving's already passed. You're safe, Kuka. Amphex. No levels, it looks like, so even though I'm a level down, I should not be concerned. Cruise into the next one where I'm gonna pop my level up, go into level 5 as we're fighting the Dokas, and then shortly after that, based off of what kind of components we end up getting, we'll determine whether I just kind of power up to level 7, start maybe looking for Riplance, or maybe even just completely bypassing it and looking towards level 5 if I'm looking to feel very greedy. I've definitely done that before. There's been some times, as we do find another Archie, so that's pretty sick. There's been a few times where the game was just going so well, I would have a Ripple Flail or another Borg weapon of some different affinity. And it'd be going so well that I'd actually switch my weapon on the very last time into the Earth Bulwark weapon, and then just level absolutely nothing except for my own self, so to speak, and just go for Phosphorus immediately. It's worked a few times. Alright, Kukaloos is here. Let's get the damage. Clumsy style, is that what we want to go for? Let's give it a shot. Add to that there. In terms of what's the next alluvials to get used, let's put our Archie. Which one is it? No, this is the one. You can go up here. And for the time being, Ranger kind of just hide away to the side. Not quite full on interest yet, so I'm not going to start rolling yet. I know technically I could, because the rerolls are free right now. But just to try and be essentially as greedy as possible, I will end up holding on to this. I think this will be the round that I can start rolling a bit. And we're going to find a bunch of Lynxes. I do also want to get these Atlases, which now leaves me maxed out in terms of interest, but nothing extra. So I'm going to hang on, be patient. As much as I want to go roll crazy, because with the way that this is going, I think I might be able to do something a little bit funny here. Was not expecting to have such free reign of the Lynxes. But it's going so good right now that I might be able to be even greedier. And then as long as I have Monarch here in control, we're okay. And right now, they don't necessarily have carries. It looks like they're just building up the front line. They've also gone for Aegis, but that's fine. The Aegis units themselves, in terms of the Archos, is not necessarily contested. There we go. That is what I'm talking about. Hello, beautiful. Are you ready to carry this game? Let's do this. Okay, Kuka. Come on back for a second. There is... my dear Axon, gonna replace the one for now. Let's quickly gank those rogues. Where is the Archos? That is what I'm looking for. I need one more Archie to truly get this done. Pura Blue will take you. Kling will take you. There is the Archie. Alright. We're set for the game. But let's take a look at this Relentless Ember Lynx. In terms of statistics, it's honestly not the greatest. It's pretty decent in regards to its health and attack speed, maxed out on Omega Power and its resistances, but damage-wise, for its normal auto attacks, a little lack to be desired. It is only a level 1. But that does not mean we cannot do some damage here, so let's see. Potentially make a switch here. No, I can't do that one. Thinking about it, thinking about it. No, we'll just stick with this. Okay. Let's get ourselves a level 6, why don't we? Let's get ourselves Aegis. And now, let's buff this Lynx. With the backup of Kukulus. And let's just watch as this amazing beast just shreds through this entire lobby. Huh. Railu might actually be a nice little partner for it. And just absolutely crushing it here. What I think I'll do for Wednesday's stream, when we inevitably hop into the arena once again, I think I might actually take a small breather in between each game to kind of let everybody recoup, because I think I kind of surprised everybody by hopping into another game so quickly. I think just go for the one that's actually leveled. There we go. So now my Lynx does have a fighter partner for a little bit of additional attack speed buff. Do need to position my Illuvials a little bit better. At the end of the day, the Lynx is a rather beefy fella. Cannot necessarily squeak into small crevices that some of these other Illuvials can. Just go, well, this one would be probably safer. Let's go for that. At this point here, I will pick up the Eddie. That would be our next tank that we need to get the 5 bulwarks. Now, of course, we had so much credits, we can hop on to the next level. Here we are. Let's get additional health. Put that onto Axon. Let's get you in the front lines. And then, which one is it? There's the one. The Kling from Squawk. Do something like this. Up against Z88, and I feel like we'll be cruising. There we go. This time the Lynx was actually able to get around, and it will absolutely go to town on all of these Illuvials. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. With the way that this is going here, I'm really curious. Oh, they got the Lynx as well? We could have a little bit of a Lynx showdown? That is interesting. We are going to see it right here, right now, aren't we? Let's see, in comparison, of course, this is my Lynx. Level 40. A little bit lackluster attack damage. Theirs, on the other hand, though, it does have the attack speed. It's a little bit squishier, but it does have the damage. It's also carrying the Radiating Impact Reactor, so any heals near my Archos will be a little bit less effective. But we both know what's going on here. And I think I do know we're both on the same level. This is about as even as it can get, but yet I feel a little bit more comfortable. And I think it might just kind of come down to Kukaloose. Let's see if we can get a stun on this thing real quick. The taunt's coming out here from my Cardulo, gonna save my Kukaloose. My Lynx is actually trapped, so that's a little bit annoying. But look at that, before my Lynx even gets into the fight, my Illuvials have essentially taken down their Lynx. It's stunned up, it can't do anything. Kukaloose, you absolutely beautiful bird, locking down their carry and just making it so that my dear Lynx can just have a Sunday cruise on the rest of its poor Monarch players' Illuvials. I apologize for referring to them just as the Monarch team name. I'm honestly not sure how to pronounce their tag. Yeah, we are sitting pretty. I am going to level up a bunch. Next round, I should be able to get up to level 9, and we're just essentially on cruise control here in this lobby. Don't need the Graco anymore. They're on the bench. Don't need the Fleesh. Next one that I'll end up adding to the lineup is going to be the Ador. Just trying to see if I can go off of basically the one solo carry Lynx in this game, based off of what I'm seeing in the field. I still need to do something about my positioning here, though. Poor little Snaky did not have a chance. Got that Lynx right there, ready to dive bomb you. In fact, I might be able to even make this a little more super effective. Hang on a minute. What if I just made my Lynx hit harder? That's now the 3 fire buff. What I'll now end up doing, because I'm realizing I'm constantly finding myself in a rough position for, well, my positioning, I'm going to shimmy over to one side. And then get the buff here. Let's go head on here with this dash. Yeah, that was a little bit more smoother. There we go. Did I just see Moth Puck here? Forest. Okay, so if I was thinking about a Forest, can't necessarily do that anymore. Alright, Adorito, hello, welcome. Let's level up and then get you into the battle here as well. And just get this kind of set up like this. The Rye is just here for fighter buff. That is basically it. Okay, supportive augment. Let's go for this here. Is there anything silly I can make right now? Potentially. Potentially. What would it give me? AoE and then damage reduction? Screw it, let's do it. Right in time here for Wildfire, it looks like. But my guy's not even on the field. Here, Hetty, get in there. What are you doing? You can have the augments necessary here. Let's give Kukaloose the buff for the attack speed. Continue to buff up our other Illuvials here as well. I have so much credits I don't know what to do with. I'm just going to put them into my level. Yeah, made the switch on over. Get one more Fire Illuvial on here. But now we have the extra added on effect of Wildfire, just to make my tank, just to make my Kronk just that much crazier. As I see loots for life end up going down, as they end up getting swarmed here by the squad. Taken down, we do lose Amphext as well. Damn, more damage, more health. How do we want to do this? More damage, more damage. That seems to be the name of the game here today. Okay, one more level up. There we go. We're maxed out, level 10. The greediest possible build that I could have done in this situation. And again, I don't want to build another carry. Call me cocky or what, but I am just going to buy the foe, but it's just a supportive foe. It is just going to be here for the extra fighter buff. More attack speed to the Lynx. Let's go. See if we can get a good angle here on this Lynx currently in battle. Drone, move it, will ya? There we go. Penguin, no issue. Absolutely swarmed down. Rectified, gonna be out of here as well. And now we are so well off in terms of credits, it's not even funny. I'm even gonna be able to get a forest just because. Continue to put the hurt here onto this squad. They have a bunch of rogues diving at me, but again, for Z88 in particular here, whether it be new player or whether it be a bot, these are not leveled up alluvials, so we don't have to make a move at all. Not a move in the slightest. Let's see here. POV, you're the Lynx on the team. Zoom out maybe a little bit here. Absolute massacre. Down to the top 3. Necro Boy about to be the next one out of here as well. Let's make a quick swap in terms of positioning. We'll end up putting Prunk there to be the kind of the lead. Now, Monarch here does have a little bit of a more scarier team now. This is where the challenge is going to end up being. It is going up against that nasty Jotun. Level 40. Not too shabby in terms of the tank and attack speed sides. It's a not too shabby Illuvio overall. And my only juiced up carry is the Lynx. See if we can still get the job done. Forest is going to try and stop Jotun in its tracks up on the top side. If there is one thing going in my favor, it does not look like that Jotun has any sort of snowballing stacking effects. So I will absolutely be able to capitalize if it comes down to a one-on-one. But as it stands right now, it looks like that Wildfire that I added on a little bit earlier, it's keeping this Krunk alive. It's keeping those blinds in there, and it's making it a living hell for this Jotun to do anything, and we are going to take it down. And with Necro Boy falling, there is no more Krunks on the board. So there's two things that I'm looking for, Ador and Krunk. And we are finding a bunch of the Adors. We're even going to get ourselves a Singe. Like if we were able to get a foe, that'd be kind of funny as well. We don't need the Kling. We didn't end up using it. Don't need the Grocco anymore. And we're getting a bunch of tank items, it looks like, as well. In fact, let's see. Resistances with shields, let's do that. Maybe give you something as well. Maybe you can all of a sudden start doing takedowns? Do something like that, maybe. Just make this guy an absolute snowballing monstrosity, why don't we? There's another foe. And there we go. Adorius is here. Probably as much of a floor level alluvial as you can get. But we have it, and it's still going to be a beast. But the big battle that I'm looking for is actually going to be right over there in the corner. It is Jotun versus the Lynx. And this is actually not looking too good for me. Might have bit off a little bit more than I could chew, but the backup is here. Here comes the forest. But no, we are going to end up finally going down here. This is exactly why we can't get too cocky. This Jotun is looking to put in the hurt, but we do still have Adorius. It is healing like a madman. Can it keep Crunk alive now that the Jotun is onto it? It's looking good so far. Nope, never mind. It does end up going down. Big heals, big damage coming out here from the Adorius. But is the overtime timer going to save me in this instance? It very well might, because we still have one more heal left in the tank. But we can't be so cocky now, can we? Finally going to end up finding Rise Evolution. As we put the rest of our coins in here, Phosphorus is going to join the party. Not going to be able to completely carry off of the one tank alone. Or not the one tank, but the one Lynx alone. But we are absolutely going to be able to do some damage. Still going to have all the money here onto Lynx. I'll keep it Aegis buffed for the time being. Let's see how it goes. Phosphorus is going to be able to get around and get onto that Vermilier. Can he get it done before the cast comes out? No, the chunk's going to come on down. Let's see, the Lynx and the Phosphorus are doing such a good job this time. It's not even funny. Beautiful Omegas coming out here from Phosphorus as well. Just absolutely cleaving on through everybody, and there we go. This time it went brutally into our favor. Is that going to be the end of the game? Not quite. Not quite, not yet. Let's use whatever we got left in the tank. I don't even know. It'd be, I guess, Heady would be what I'm looking for, right? We gonna find any of it? Found the one. Doesn't look like we're gonna find any others, though. That'd be the only thing I could think of possibly being an upgrade. And we'll let it ride one more time here. Let's see. Can the Lynx being Aegis buffed get me a perfect game? Be pretty crazy if it can. If it does get shut down, we will move stuff over to the Phosphorus. But let's take a look here. So far, so good. Took down the Vermilier pretty quickly. Phosphorus once again, a little bit of rinse and repeat. Now we're back onto that Jotun. And as the Jotun gets shredded, the Crunk does such a good job of holding the line, keeping it blinded, that there is no chance that they're going to be able to tear through this. And just like that, the Aegis buffed Lynx is going to end up winning us that one. A perfect game to finish off the stream. That's how it's done right there. It almost bit me that one time. The overtime timer, I'm not going to lie, might have saved me the one time there. But, you know, completely calculated. I wasn't scared at all. Just kidding, that was very, very close. GG's, of course, to everybody in that lobby. Illuvium 0 cooldown time to wrap up the day. Collect our resources, and then see if maybe we could scoop up a couple of these tier 5 biodatas. Some of my plots do have some scanners running. It is a very lengthy process to be able to actually get to the scanners upgraded. But we're making do. Let's start from the top and work our way down. Pop up here in just a second. There we are. scoop up what we have available. One of the tier 2s I'm currently working on. And then not to waste any time, because I do have some errands to do after this. Wife was reminding me of them as we were playing that last round. Just scoop these ones up. This one has the 3, so we'll set that up here in just a second. Slowly but surely getting my silicon back here. Okay, there we go. So 3 scanners loaded, all tier 5. Can we actually find some biodata this time? Let's see. Nothing on the first one. Running out of storage, so this could be one thing. Or two things. This could either be something bigger, or is it just one of the tier 1s coming back to haunt me after I removed it last time? So let's see. If I remove the Caribou, is this going to be another tier 1? Yeah, it's going to be a tier 1. T-Root coming to troll me a little bit. Teasing me. We've got another one. Is it going to troll me again, though? Let's see. T-Root. Have you leave once again. Can this be a tier 5? Not quite, but it's a Furiox. We'll gladly take the Furiox. I'm not going to complain about that one. Not in the slightest. Let's get our scanner back up and running. And then call it for that plot. Abyssal Basin. We've got 2 operating currently onto this one. I'm really struggling in terms of the resources. Spent a lot of it trying to get the Bellotto blueprints sent through the transducer. My drone just went through. My suit is currently in progress. Still another 2 days before I can get that one. But in the meantime, we do have 2 plots. Let's see if we're going to get any this time. Not this one. That's alright. Let's hop over to Shard Bluff. Now, in this one, I'm currently pausing the construction on my scanners because I wanted to make sure that I at least have all of my fuel production maximized. I noticed that a couple of my inverters here, the anti-solons, have been stuck at level 5 when they could be level 6 and giving me more each week. So I'm kind of working on that. So we'll get that moving here in just a second's time. And we do, of course, have the 3 scans from those already made. Let's take a look and see if we can get anything locked in. Not this time, unfortunately. The quest for tier 5 biodata is going to get stalled out a little bit here today. Not going to hit, but that's alright. Not everyone can be a banger, and like I say pretty much every stream, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Like everything with Illuvium. I know a lot of people are a little bit upset with the rewards changes and whatnot. But we still have a good thing here. And you know me, overall, again, just to kind of recap my thoughts on that entire scenario if you're just joining, it was a 100% necessary change, in my opinion. However, the way it was done definitely sucked. I'm not gonna lie. It hurts, it hurt a lot of people. Definitely hope for some more positivity in the future. After this one, again, similar scenario. I'm just trying to get my anti-solons up. Got a few more. I think, what, these 4, potentially this one? Okay, so 5 more left to go. We're getting there. Almost done. Then, as to what I do with these plots, I'm not necessarily sure, because it might just be at the point where I have all of my tier 5 biodata, so that'll be completed. Of course, I'll be looking for some blueprints and whatnot, but in terms of upgrading the extractors, for example, like I don't necessarily need to. Before, I would click all of these anyway, because it would go towards the production leaderboard. The production leaderboard isn't a thing, though. And then there's just the fuel leaderboards, which I'm not going to get with this lone tier 3. So I'm just kind of saving up and waiting for the next big thing. And this one, I think it's just more of a storage problem right now. If I recall correctly, yeah, I just need to load up. I just gotta pay attention to these plots a little bit more. Some of these extractors aren't, or don't take a very, very long time to actually do. But I'm just not checking it enough. A couple of my passives working. Should be able to refresh this. Oh no, is it actually more? Oh, it's actually 1 million now. Right. That's why I got the other converter. Try and help with that. There it goes. And let's see. No, I've got an actual extractor for this one. Let's do that instead. Bang, bang. Do that. Take the passive. Take the passive. Get that situated. Send this off one more time, because it's a very similar situation. Trying to get all of my passive fuel generation up to snuff. We're almost there. It is long, it can be a little bit tedious, but once it's complete, it is extremely, extremely satisfying. Well, with that, that is the stream for today. So the game plan here for this week is going to be that we have a stream. Of course, we added this today, here on Monday. We're going to be back on Wednesday. Going to be doing our usual Illuvium stuff, but at the same time, I'm also going to be kind of talking about my year-end review. As I'm going through Overworld leveling up, or while I'm in the ranked queues or something along those lines, I will be talking about, kind of personally, the experience of being the content creator since, or a content creator since July. My full-time, or not my full-time, but my full focus of content being focused on Illuvium from August moving forward, so almost a half a year of hard focusing on Illuvium. My time doing so, what does my channel progression look like? And all of those good numbers. It kind of ties on to this, though, as well. One of my personal goals going into 2026 was to have 100 subs on YouTube at the end of December. I'm actually extremely close, so if you happen to be watching on YouTube or use YouTube from time to time and you want to hang out a little bit more often when it comes to Illuvium, definitely would be an absolute legendary if you can sub to the channel, as long as you're enjoying the content, of course. So I'll be back on Wednesday, and then we'll be back on Friday here as well. Friday is going to be a little bit more of what I would traditionally do in regards to going from Overworld to ranked to 0, unless there is any sort of news or any sort of other topics that happen to come up. Because in fact, I am still trying, regardless of community sentiment, I'm still trying to improve my content here with Illuvium, focus strictly on Illuvium, and as long as I'm still having fun with Illuvium, that will be the focus. Regardless of the market conditions, because I really do not care about crypto. Regardless of the announcements, as long as I'm still having fun, I do not plan on changing my focus. So whether that be, again, subbing on YouTube or following on Twitch or X, that'd be absolutely legendary if you could. But until then, I do have to call it. Got a little bit of chores to do and some running around to do before the snow gets too crazy. Once again, it looks like Taiga Boreal out there. So I need to get out there and get the job done before I get snowed in. So until next time, thank you all again for tuning in. I will see you on Wednesday for the next stream.